Let's go on learning about the details of a paragraph. So we talked about this graphic. We have the topic sentence, we have detail number 1, detail number 2, and detail number 3. We know that for detail number 1, there's going to be at least one sentence. In many, there's going to be 2 or 3. And so the first sentence is called the lead-off sentence. The second sentence is called the follow-up sentence. And then there might be another follow-up sentence. Then you go on with your transition word to the next detail. And there'll be a lead-off sentence and at least one follow-up sentence. Then you'll do a transition word and you'll go to your next detail. And you'll have your lead-off sentence and a follow-up sentence and maybe another one. So let's talk a little bit more about lead-off sentences and follow-up sentences. In your lead-off sentence, it's going to introduce you to a new detail. And it's going to contain that transition word. So you know it's a lead-off sentence if it has that transition word. Here's an example. Next, you put in the screws to make it more stable. So we know that next is our transition word, and then it's going to talk about your first detail. Then the follow-up sentence provides more information about the detail, but it's not going to have a transition word because you don't need one. You're still talking about that same detail. Here's an example. The screws could be either silver or gold, depending on what you bought. So it's still talking about the screws, but it doesn't have that transition word. Let's look at our full example paragraph. So, let's see. I read this to you in the last video, so I'm not going to read it again. But let's look at the transition words, most importantly, somewhat importantly, and finally. And then I did just a little return to show you that this right here is all about the first detail, those 2 sentences. Then the second detail is right here, and that's 3 sentences. And the final detail is down here with the 2 sentences. Now we need to figure out if it's a lead-off sentence or a follow-up sentence. Ooh, I went too fast. So in this first detail, you've got, most importantly, turtles' shells serve as the base for their skeletons. And we know that it's a lead-off sentence because it has those transition words in it. And because of default, really, we know this is the follow-up sentence right here because it doesn't have a transition in it, and it just gives us more information about the details. So if you look at the example this way, the lead-off sentences are in this reddish color, and then the follow-up sentence is in this black color. So let's look at that second detail. We've got the lead-off sentence, and we know it is because it has this transition word, somewhat importantly. And then it gives information about that second detail. And then it gives a little more information in the next couple sentences about that detail. And again, in this third detail, you have finally, which is the transition word, and then you give information about that third detail, and then the follow-up sentence is next, and it gives a little more information about that third detail. In this lesson, you're going to be looking at transition words, and you're going to be looking at lead-off sentences and follow-up sentences.